and introduce you. All right, so thank you all that were able to attend this first session of the college prep workshop with Mr. Cletus Jones. Today is just an overview in general, and also going to look at the FAFSA, briefly touch on it and what it's about. And then after Mr. Cletus has given his presentation, we will do the giveaway as well. So he's only needing about 20 minutes of our time tonight. And so with that, I will pass it over to Mr. Cletus, who is with Shepherd Community and Act 6. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so, hey, I've been working with students at an IPS here in Indy probably 8 years now. So kind of just seeing the same pattern, same group of kids. And even for myself, I went to 4 different colleges. So just, we're gonna start today with just about things you need to know to kind of get to college. It's kind of a layered process of doing the FAFSA, scholarships search, school search. And so today will just be an introductory night to the FAFSA part of it, and just some easy right at your information. And feel free at absolute any point, you just need me to clarify something, because I can do that. Can you all can see that, correct? And I'm going to open this chat on my sidebar just in case you want to throw a question in there. So yeah, and if not, that's my email there, Mr. Johnson's email there for Elevate. So tonight, just talking about the FAFSA. Anyone know what FAFSA stands for? Just by chance? No. So it stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. There's a F in there, but Free Application for Federal Student Aid. And that, if you know the acronym, that says a lot about what it is. So it is free. Doesn't cost you anything to do it. No real requirements or anything. You just log in, get going. Just ask a lot of information. The application part of it, more like a form. There's no like accepted or denied to it. But if the numbers you put in are fishy, like it will ask you to verify some things, kind of like an audit. The federal part of it, it's federal and state scholarships, grants, and money. So that's the aid as well, just anything financial that might help you in college. And so that's where the S comes in, the student part of the aid. And so this right here, I mean, kind of just like a visual representation of the same thing I just said. If you want to be a student anywhere, with Ivy Tech, Lincoln Tech, you want to do HVAC or go to beauty school, IUPUI, Butler, like no matter where you go to school, as long as they are accepting financial aid, the FAFSA is of use to you. And so there's kind of all this other money laying out there, you know, for some of you up to maybe even $6,000 that you could have. And how FAFSA works is it's that bridge from whatever school you're at to all that extra money that's just sitting out there. A student applies to IUPUI without doing FAFSA, they may get a financial aid package saying they owe $20,000 a year. Student applies to IUPUI with doing FAFSA, right? They took that bridge, got all this money, they're gonna get a financial aid package with a bill saying they only owe $3,000. So just think of it that way, right? No bridge, no money. FAFSA is your bridge, gives you access to all that extra money that's just sitting out there that you will likely qualify for. Probably a minimum of at least $5,000 in grants and another $5,000 in loans. So how it works is that they take into consideration a lot of information from your parents, kind of personal questions really. And some of it your parents aren't gonna wanna share with you. But again, no bridge, no money. So you gotta kind of really talk, hey, I need this information from you. So income, taxes, how much they may have in the bank, how many people are in the home, how many people in that home are in college or over the age of 25, assets. So this is just your parents' home, they got a boat, stocks, child support, anything that has value other than just the money they make on their job. and it all kind of goes together in this little online calculator. This kind of would be the FAFSA itself, and it outputs this number called an EFC, estimated family contribution. Again, the name says it all. It's just them estimating what your family can contribute to your college. So you put all your info in, calculates it, gives you a number, this EFC. You need to know that number. This is the number colleges will use when they put together financial aid packages for you. They will use the EFC that comes out of your FAFSA to determine how much money you can get in grants and scholarships and how much money they can offer you in loans and different things. So that's what it is, how it works. Just gonna a quick pause right there if there's just any questions on that basic information. Selena, LJ, AJ. No question, no question, no question. Cool. We're gonna push through that. Deadlines. This is big. So if you just went and looked up when is FAFSA due, it's gonna say June 30th, 2021, which is correct, but that's the federal deadline. If you wait until then, you will have missed the Indiana deadline, which is April 15th. What does that mean? If you miss the Indiana deadline, that means you lose out on state aid, which for some of you might even be your 21st century scholarship. So you'd have worked all that time for 4 years, 5 years to keep the scholarship. And then because you tried to wait until June 1st to do it, you end up maybe not getting it. So do not be concerned with the federal deadline. The state deadline is the big kicker. You want to make sure it's done by April 15th, which we are going to kind of get a head start on that because you want to get it done as soon as possible. So next week, we're going to get started on this at Outreach Inc. I believe, Mr. Johnson, is that right? They're going to open their space up to us for you, your parents to come in and just get started working on these FAFSA so you can be well ahead of the curve. Are you going to say something, Mr. Johnson?
No, I'm saying, yeah, that's correct, at Outreach. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll put out more information next week, this week, Friday, as well as early part of next week, more details concerning that and so forth and so on.
Yep. And so again, this is something you definitely want to get a jump on because wait until the last minute. Every week that you wait, you miss another deadline where scholarships deadlines are coming up and they require you to have your FAFSA completed, or you're applying to something else that requires you to have that FAFSA completed because everyone wants to know that EFC. So definitely not something you want to drag your feet on, but if you show up next week, we can probably get you 90% through it and you'll be in a really good spot. And you can be completely done in 2 weeks. If you just stick with us, we'll get you to that process in the coming weeks. It's more parts of this workshop that we'll do. We'll get you through applying to scholarships, finding the right ones for you, and find a good 3 or 4 colleges that are a really good fit for you. And so that'll be continuing Thursdays between now and maybe first couple of weeks in January. We're going to make sure that you're in a good spot come your spring break, that you've got everything you already need for college completely done. So if you plan to attend, there's some things you'll need next week. And this is big because it may take you some digging around to kind of find some of these things, or you need to may ask around and get this information verified. So if you've got phone, pen, whatever you need to do, you will want to write these things down or take note of them somewhere so that you'll be prepared. Because some of them, if you don't have them, you won't be able to do anything. You won't even be able to get through step 2 of the FAFSA process. You just will need the information. So the first thing is your parents' 2019 taxes and your own 2019 taxes if you made enough money to have needed to file. Probably not. I think that number is like 2,500 or something like that. But 2019 taxes, you'll need to ask your parents if they have any of that paperwork. If they there's a chance that they may be able to access them online while you're doing the FAFSA, so it's not as big of an issue. But if they do have the paper copies of that, gather those, bring those with you, keep them in a fairly secure folder. This is not stuff you want to lose by any means. For some of our other families, hyphenated last names. So what you'll see, and we've had this happen with a couple of our students, you'll have a student who in their school the birth name is Julio Martinez de Santiago, but just on their school ID, it just says Julio Martinez, right? It'll put that report in both names. But maybe on the IRS and their tax papers, they have their full birth name. If you try to put that in FAFSA, there are some last names, I don't know if they've changed it, but I know this was still the case last year. Just because they're used to shorter American names, there's not enough room to put the full name on there. And so what ends up happening is this FAFSA will get declined because on FAFSA it's reported Julio Martinez de Sant because of the cutoff, and it's trying to match that with an IRS name, Julio Martinez de Santiago, which doesn't match. So you definitely want to take this time this week for your parents to just even know, hey, how is their name reported on their tax papers? And I need to do my best to make sure I report it that exact same way when I fill out the FAFSA. Does that make sense? So yeah, get that figured out. Social Security numbers, again, not something you want to lose. But you will need your Social Security number and the Social Security number for both of your parents. So you'll need 3 numbers. If your parents are undocumented, we can just put in zeros, but otherwise you're gonna wanna show up with 3 Social Security numbers, both parents as well as yours. Birthdays, get those, it can be pretty easy. And sometimes you may not think, oh, I need to write that down, but if you don't remember and then you're trying to call mom or dad and they're at work or they can't answer again, you get stuck at a very, very early process in the FAFSA where you may need some of this information. So get their Social Security number, birth dates, marriage date as well. If they're married, you will need to know their marriage date. Why they need this information, I don't know, but it comes up every year and nobody knows when their parents were married. I didn't know until I was a senior in high school. But find out the date of their marriage. If they've had a second marriage, they may need that if it's in a certain time frame. I'm not sure on that. I could have just completely made that up. But definitely, if they're married, get that date written down. I'll put these 2 together. Alien registration number or driver's license. Essentially, if you have a federal issued ID, bring it. Federal issued, state issued, any type of government ID, not your school ID, any type of government issued ID, you need to bring that because it may ask for some of that information that you need. And then lastly, if you are an undocumented student, you would maybe identify if there's some colleges that you're interested in, you're going to want to talk to that admissions office this week because some schools will tell you not to even bother doing the FAFSA because it could just make things more complicated. So that's specific to the undocumented student. If you have an idea of, oh, I think I'm going to IUPUI or whatever, some other school, talk to that admissions office. If you're not sure what college you're going to go to, I wouldn't even worry about that. Even if you're undocumented, just start the process because you don't want to get to a place where a school says you should have done it and then it's April 16th and you've passed the Indiana deadline. So if you don't have like a hardcore plan, like you've already secured some money in the bag, Lilly Grant, whatever it is, then ignore that last one. But any questions on either the 8 up there? Okay, so whatever you need to do, screenshot, take a picture, put that in your phone or something. Mr. Johnson, I'm sure will email it out, but you want to use this week to get that information together so that next Thursday when we're doing this, we can kind of just roll and really be on the move here. And then this last day, 26. All right, we're doing good. This is real simple. So what I'm gonna do is, this is just for you to really get thinking. So I'm gonna send you a survey. It's only gonna ask you 3 questions: your name, plan A, and plan B. So you would just say, name AJ, plan A, I'm gonna go to IUPUI, plan B, I'm gonna go to Ivy Tech, and then you hit submit, and you're done. Another one might be, actually, let me go ahead and, I'll just go ahead and put the survey in the chat now. I thought I had the chat pulled up. Okay, and bam. I'm assuming you've got access to internet since you're on the Zoom. So if you just want to go ahead and start, just do that real quick, and then just kind of, just type done in the chat when you've actually finished it. But just picking up back there. If you're not sure a specific college, you can just put some college, plan B, Army. You may decide that IU Bloomington, then plan B is to work. That's fine. Beauty school, plan B, I don't know. I don't know is a good answer. Or plan A is Army, plan B is to work. Just putting that out there so you kind of know what to put. You're not limited to anything, but just fill that out real quick. Again, just 3 questions: name, plan A, plan B, submit, and then just type done in the chat once you get that.
It says I need permission.
It says you need permission?
Yes.
Okay. I will give you permission in about 41 seconds here. I have a really bad habit of restricting my Google Forms to Shepherd community users. Okay. But otherwise, any questions on any of that I went through?
Lonnie, any questions? Or AJ, any questions?
No, I don't got any questions.
All right. Okay. So he's going to give permission for the form here in a second. It may already gone through, but he'll let you know. And then you can take that little survey real quick.
All right, and save. You should have permission now. Sorry about that. Mr. Johnson, you got any other details for him about next week?
The details for next week are probably weigh heavily on dependent upon the type of response we get from other students as well that express interest in being on tonight but couldn't, to see how viable that is for them to make it to that location. So ideally, we'll have a number of students that will be able to, that need to still complete the FAFSA and will show up. That will be for seniors only, though. Isn't that correct?
Next week, yes, will be seniors only, but the others will be pretty much open to everyone. But
exactly. Okay. So I'll be able to get a lot of feedback from the seniors tomorrow, as well as probably Monday, and by then have a good idea of exactly what we're looking like.
Was I supposed to put a college? Because they keep asking me to put numbers.
it's asking you to put numbers
Yeah.
for.
Because when we supposed to put like a certain college or something.
Let's see what. If I may have just totally messed this thing up. Okay. See if you can not put a number now. Is it working now?
It says it must be a number.
Close it out and reopen it. I think That was a mistake on my part, a crucial one.
Okay, it's working.
Okay, sorry about that. Strike
okay.
two. Yeah, so if your parents are kind of worried about giving you some of that information, then here is my cell phone number. You could just say, hey, this is the one who did the presentation. You can call him about what they really do or do not need, and I could talk to them. But again, this kind of like opens the door for you to be able to go to college for free. So the taxes, the social security numbers, the wedding date, it's stuff you usually don't just hand out to everyone, especially not just send your student with a folder in out the door. But it's the information they absolutely require. It's not really too many workarounds around it. Was everyone able to get that survey done?
I filled mine out.
All right, we got one done. Looks like we got all three done. Oh, Mr. Johnson, you did one?
No, his last name is Johnson too.
Oh, that's Adam Johnson. Okay, got it. So yeah, we got all three done. Okay, well then that's it. We're good then. I don't know if you got anything else for him.
Okay, so is that it there for us with that survey? You're good.
Yep, got them all.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, great, sir. Definitely appreciate it. Ms. Grace, give them just a little understanding of the future presentations and what they just kind of entail with the I think next is the FAFSA completion, but then we had college certs, scholarship certs, scholarship applications, and then college applications.
College applications.
This may be a 30-second overview of each of those, what those sessions will entail.
Yes, so in what we will do over those 5 weeks, you will end up with I don't know why I made it this big, but a notebook that's got essentially everything in it you need to apply for a college or a college scholarship. That way you're not really having to do too much thinking about things. You've kind of got it all in one spot. You'll know exactly when things are due, when things need to be done. And by the end of it, you will have applied to multiple scholarships and colleges that you'd be interested in, so that hopefully by the end of January, you're just in the waiting process of just waiting to hear back from this college, waiting to hear back from this scholarship. And hopefully we can all get you in a really good position. I'll just do a plug here. For those of you who are seniors, I help recruit for a scholarship called Act 6. The application's open now. If you've got another 20 minutes free tonight, you can start on it. It's full tuition up to a full ride to either Taylor University or Oakland City University. And it's only for Indianapolis students. So it's a $150,000 scholarship that I think we've only had 2 people apply so far for. And we're giving out 17 scholarships. So real good odds right now.
What's the deadline? Like last year, I think you said you had 60. I want to say the number was about 60 apply. What's the preferred deadline for that?
Yeah, so the deadline is December 1st. I would say tell yourself maybe about November 20th, because what's going to happen is that holiday is going to kick in, and you're going to leave school, whatever it is, the 24th, 25th, and then you're going to look up and it's December 1st. And you may still need that teacher recommendation and all those other things. You haven't been in school that whole time. So shoot for like November 20th as far as what you're telling yourself when I need to have this by.
So with that particular scholarship, unlike FAFSA, in some aspects, it's first come, first served. Act 6, as long as it's in and totally completed by that deadline of December 1st,
Correct.
you're eligible, fully eligible, and be considered for that scholarship.
Yep, correct.
Awesome. I wanted you to, and you gave a big overview. I was hoping that you would give an overview of what might they expect in the college search session.
Yeah,
Then
in the
what
college
would they-
search section. Yeah, so
Then what would they expect maybe in the college application session?
Yeah.
And then scholarship session and the completing the scholarship application session. If you could, in that
Yeah.
format.
So in the college search, we will, I don't know why I just did that. In the college search, we will cover how to pick a school because there's kind of an art to it. They're not all equal and they won't all be equal to you. And again, you'll hear me say this, the big thing we'll be asking you is what's going to give you the best chance of graduating? You may want to go to a big school, but if that's not going to be your best chance of graduating, you need to look at some more smaller schools and vice versa. So we'll cover a whole lot of that. What type of school gives you the best chance of graduating? Have a little checklist, a couple of notes, and then the session afterwards will actually apply to those. The first thing we'll do is we'll do the Common App, which it's one application, and you'll essentially apply to like 15 schools, which is nice to just knock that out. And then we'll actually start applying to some of the schools that could be more the right fit for you based on what we talked about the previous session. Similar with the scholarship search, just websites to use, how to look for them, how to write an essay for your scholarship. We'll spend a good amount of time on that, getting your scholarship essays together. And then in the next session, just kind of hopefully being able to just get a lot of them done, get some scholarship applications done. Because once you've written 1 or 2 essays, and if you have a teacher recommendation letter, you can apply to several scholarships really, really quickly. And in the spring, that just needs to be your full-time job. You just need to apply to a new scholarship every day to keep your odds up of getting all that money. Because you will get a refund check. If you get $100,000 in scholarships and tuitions only 80 grand over the course of 4 years, and you're getting that other 20 back to you, just pocket money. That is the truth. That happened to me. I got a lot of pocket money just because the scholarships I had exceeded my bill. So it's well worth the time of just clicking buttons, especially if you're on your phone anyways.
Right. And what I told some of the students in class was that scholarship money at the end of your 4 years and you start your new life after college could easily be a down payment for your home. Like easily right there, just for putting in the work. Because I tell them applying for scholarships is a full-time job. You put in the work though, put in the time, you'll be rewarded for it. You won't regret it. So, okay, great. Well, we were going to do thank you, Ms. Cleese. Let me snap it up for you since I'm on here. You know how we do it, Elevate. We were going to do a giveaway, but it's going to be kind of easy. What I'm just going to do, I'm going to take Ida and Lonnie and I'm going to throw y'all gift cards as soon as we hang up, since I only have to give it to you two. So no giveaway on the mission statement, Elevate mission statement today, but I will still say the mission statement. Let me read it and make sure, because I'll jack it up like Miss Garza did today. So when she sees this recording, she can be like, Mr. Johnson, why you calling me out? Because a mission statement, Elevate's mission statement: building long-term, life-changing relationships with urban youth, equipping them to thrive and contribute to their community. That's what we're about. That's what we do. So that's our mission. Mr. Cletus Jones, thank you for being on that mission with us today and for the next 5 weeks and beyond, naturally. But greatly appreciate your time. Appreciate you all joining us today. And with that, I'm going to say, have a good evening. We will have more information coming out concerning the upcoming sessions, and take advantage of this. It's going to be great. It is designed for you and your parents. The next session, filling out the FAFSA, is for seniors only, but all the sessions after that, juniors and seniors will both benefit from it. You're getting a head start, a great head start on your post-secondary education. So I'm glad you came tonight and look forward to seeing you all in the future. See some of you in class. All right, so have a good evening. If you have any additional questions, go ahead and let me know now. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If not, have a great evening.
So I do have a question.
Yes, go right ahead.
So for the ACCESS scholarship, do we need any test scores? So like the SAT or the ACT?
No, but did you take it yesterday?
I did.
Okay, so if you took it, it will be to your advantage to submit it, even if you think it's low or like, oh, I didn't do good enough. So we don't really have a GPA or SAT minimum. I mean, I can tell we've had a student with a 29 on the ACT get a full ride, and a student with a 14 on the SAT get a full ride. It's where we're really looking at like, if we give you this $100,000, will you graduate? That's our number one question. So yeah, no GPA or SAT minimums, but since you do have the scores, it would help you to send that to us.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and so I don't know if that link works, but the application is open now, and definitely if you've got some free time tonight, get started on part 1 of that, and then hopefully we can get you in somewhere for free.
And either way, I can send that link out to you again because I have it as well. And we also did it in class. Ida's not in our class this semester, but she's a senior at Tech. So we can definitely get you the information. Me and Ms. Garza was actually talking about the ACCESS scholarship today. She and I had lunch after class and talking about this meeting and the ACCESS scholarship and the dual enrollment credit with St. Joe's. So great question. Was there anything else any other questions from you or from anyone else? Lonnie, any questions? If not, we're great. Well, thank you all once again. Appreciate you. And we'll look to see you all, well, not the juniors, but look to see all the seniors, even those watching this recording, seeing you next week. Have a good evening. Let me stop the recording here.